The laugh wasn't cruel. That almost made it worse. It was quick, instinctive. Something the British music producer didn't even realize had slipped out. He had been walking down a narrow street, jet-lagged, distracted, half listening to the noise of the city. Traffic, voices, vendors calling out prices. Manila at full volume. Then came the singing. Raw, loud, unpolished. The producer stopped walking. He listened for a few seconds, tilted his head, and smiled the way professionals do when they think they've already figured something out. "Street singer," he muttered. "Passion, but no control." He laughed softly and turned to keep walking. That should have been the end of it. The singer was a young Filipino man standing beside a cracked concrete wall, holding a battered microphone connected to a tiny speaker held together with tape. His shoes were worn, his shirt faded. A small crowd had gathered, not cheering, not filming, just listening while waiting for jeepneys and tricycles. He noticed the foreigner pause. He noticed the smile. He noticed the laugh. But he didn't stop singing. Instead, he changed the song. The melody slowed. The key dropped. The lyrics shifted into English, soft at first, almost shy. His voice suddenly wasn't loud anymore. It was controlled, intimate, like he was singing to one person instead of a street. The British producer stopped again. This time, he didn't smile. The voice carried something unexpected. Not power, control. Not volume, emotion, the kind of restraint you don't teach easily, the kind that comes from singing when no one promises to listen. The producer crossed his arms and leaned against a parked car, telling himself he was just killing time. The singer closed his eyes. He sang about distance, about being unheard, about sending a voice into the world and not knowing if it would ever come back. People around them grew quiet. The producer felt something uncomfortable stir. Recognition. He'd heard this before. Not on the street, but in studios. In late-night sessions with artists who had something real to say but didn't know if the world would care. The song ended. There was no applause at first. Just silence. Then a few coins dropped into the open guitar case. The producer cleared his throat. "Where did you learn to sing like that?" he asked, his accent cutting through the air. The singer opened his eyes, surprised. "At home," he said. "And here." The producer nodded slowly. He asked what songs the singer knew. The answer surprised him again. Not just pop, not just covers for tips. Old soul records, acoustic versions of British ballads, songs that required timing, breath, patience. The producer laughed again. But this time, it wasn't dismissive. It was nervous. He asked the singer to try something, any song he wanted. The singer thought for a moment, then began a song the producer had helped record years ago. An album track that never charted, never trended, but meant everything to the artist who wrote it. The producer's face changed. "How do you know that song?" he asked. The singer shrugged. "I listened to everything." Halfway through, the singer stopped. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. "I don't know if I'm doing it right." The producer shook his head. "No," he said. "You're doing it honestly." They talked, right there on the street. The producer learned the singer worked odd jobs, sang nights, uploaded covers when he could afford data, recorded vocals in a neighbor's room when it was quiet enough. No manager, no studio, no shortcuts, just voice and time. The producer asked to record him. Not in a studio. Not yet, right there. The phone recording was rough. Background noise, cars, people coughing. But the voice cut through everything. That night, the producer listened to the recording again in his hotel room. Then again. Then again. He sent it to 2 people back home. One replied with a single word. "Where did you find him?" The next day, they met again. This time, the producer didn't laugh. He brought proper equipment. A small portable mic, headphones. They recorded takes between passing vehicles, between interruptions, between life happening. It wasn't perfect. It was real. Weeks later, the singer stepped into a studio for the first time. He was quiet, careful, almost afraid to touch anything. The producer watched him through the glass. The singer closed his eyes and sang. No street noise this time. No crowd, no coins dropping. Just him. When the take ended, the control room was silent. No one spoke for several seconds. The producer finally exhaled. "This," he said softly, "is why I do this." The song didn't explode overnight. There were no headlines screaming miracles, but people listened, and then they shared, and then they listened again. When asked later what first made him stop that day, the producer thought for a long time. It wasn't the voice, he said. It was the way he didn't stop singing, even when I laughed. Because sometimes, the most shocking thing isn't talent, it's perseverance. And sometimes, the voice that changes everything doesn't come from a stage, it comes from the street.